Hello YouTubers, and finally I'm going to be reviewing this, which is the two different variants of the Parting of the Ways set, aka History of the Daleks set 19. So yeah, as I said before, there are two variants and acts of these Daleks and acts, and for now, let's take a look at the more unique Dalek, the sort of, I don't know what you'd actually call this, and that Emperor's Guard with their black fender type of Dalek. I honestly don't know, but yeah, now this technically had a release before, but it wasn't accurate. It was not only the original inaccurate sculpt, it had a black MIG section here, because it was released in the Dalek Battle Pack way back in 2005. And technically, this is not based on an actual physical prop. It's actually based on a CGI model, which is only seen very briefly in the background in Parting of the Ways in the Emperor's throne room behind the Emperor, sort of elevating across. Now, technically, from what I'm aware, the models that were used, which again you can barely see in the background, did use the plunger. However, there was a buzzsaw version which wasn't used in the actual story, but it was made for the actual story. They just didn't use that CGI model for whatever reason. But when it later came out in like Doctor Who magazines and everything like that, they always showed the buzzsaw variant because it was the more interesting variant. And yeah, it is annoying that, you know, we've got two of these now. That there are two, you know, sets here, and obviously we've got a variant with the assault arm, which I'll get more onto later, but why, you know, could we not have one with the plunger and one with the buzzsaw? And that would have been a nice little variant to do. Or maybe, you know, if it's just down to paint apps, then how about one Dalek just be a standard Emperor's Guard, and the other one, you know, be this one? Because I know a lot of people really wanted, including myself, wanted that Emperor's Guard to get a re-release. It's only being released once before in this 5-inch accurate sculpt form, which is the Toys R Us Parting of Ways set with the 9th Doctor. So yeah, still though, I really do love this Dalek. It is a really nice Dalek, and yeah, the matte on, it is a matte black, but the matte black sort of on the bottom section here has got more of a satin finish, and on the top it is just sort of a matte black or jet black type finish. It does have the correct gold band, but yeah, it's a really nice Dalek. And hey, look, no scuffing on the fender. Oh, thank God, because there's no excuse, you know, for this one, because again, it's a CGI Dalek. So yeah, there's no reason for it to actually have any of that. There is something though incorrect with this, and I will knock the light over as I show you it. Oh, I'm very good at knocking lights over in these videos. But it's on the plunger here at the end, or the tip of the plunger. It's done silver again. This section here at the very end should be black. And just to, you know, just to see why is this the case, I will say it is nice that the plunger cups, the actual, you know, sucker cups at the end of the Dalek, are a matte black finish this time around. But yeah, why is this section at the end of the plunger, like the very end section here where it goes telescopic, why is that not black? Thankfully, I do have some black spray paint left over, and that from back when I sprayed the Death Daleks shoulder sections black. So yeah, I'm going to do this to these Daleks. Thankfully, this time around, on the eye section here, the little black section here is still black, because again, on the Dalek Sec and Metaltron Dalek released last year, it was silver on that one for some reason. Also, thankfully, the ball joints are black again on this Dalek. I know, pointing out things that, you know, were correct in the first place, that were fucked up previously. You know, I shouldn't be complimenting things for that, but in this day and age, with the amount of fuck-ups that seem to happen at the factory, Alduar, critics due when it's due, at least. But that section at the end of the plunger should be black. So yeah, nice Dalek. Now let's get on to the other two, which I'll put that one aside. So again, we've got... This is the only one with real any variation. Now, I was wondering whether they were different coloured bronze from each other. Because in Batman March's video, and that when he did a comparison, they looked very different. And I couldn't tell whether it was the lighting or not, and it was just the lighting, because I've compared these to each other and they look pretty much identical to one another. And the best way to also do a comparison is to show the original release in this new sculpt. So here we have, so it's not quite the same and that as the original releases. So this is obviously a Crucible Dalek. This is an original release Crucible Dalek, and as you can see, the colour is slightly different, but I will say it probably matches the ones in Parting of the Ways a little bit better. To be honest, I think the colour is slightly better on these ones than it was on here. Particularly, I think, on the actual bronze and that, or gold hemispheres and that, whatever you want to call them, I think they actually do look better and that than they did on this release. Although, there again, this one is considerably older and that as well, so maybe it's dulled over time. I will say, this one, although some of them have rubbed off over time, has silver rivets painted, whereas none of these do, which is unfortunate. And also, what the hell is up with this scuffing? Like, for some reason, the fenders and that are this, you know, sort of correct type of grey-ish colour, though I would say maybe technically a little bit darker than it is, but the scuffing on here makes them look like those inaccurate green fenders and that from the original releases. It shows up more in bright light than it does in real life, but again, these props should not really have any scuffing around the fender, particularly to this insane degree. Like, look how much there is on these Daleks. It's an insane amount. And the thing is, though, these were brand new props. Like, the Mike Tucker Dalek, which was the one used in Dalek, was repainted and that for this story. And then 2 new props were made for Parting of the Ways. Just 2, an SD1 and an SD2. So basically, one Dalek was repainted and I guess you could say refurbished for that story, and the other 2 were literally brand new props. So why there's this amount, what Alduar has this obsession with the amount of scuffing, I don't know why. Plus, like, NSD Daleks and that are generally taken care of a lot better and that than props from back in the day, or if they're not, they're refurbished and that every single time to a very high standard. So why this is the case of those, I really don't know why. And what I'm probably going to do is, with my extra ones of these Daleks, is I'm going to remove the fender from these and swap it with those ones. And I might repaint these fenders with these Daleks, just repaint them black or something like that, because I don't have any grey and that, or the correct type of correct colour. But god, the amount of scuff in there is just an eyesore, and that it honestly does, because yeah, just why is this the case? So again, as well as I mentioned before, the plunger should have the silver and that should have black at the end, sorry, instead of the silver. I will say an improvement on this one are the dome lights. Yeah, the dome lights are painted and that on this release compared to the previous releases. So you can see there they've got the silver and that painted on, whereas for the longest time and that they were just left unpainted, completely clear. Not a major thing, but yeah, it is nice that, you know, they are painted up and that on this release. So there's that. But it is a really nice, you know, Dalek and that release, great for army building. But then we get the variant. Oh god, what the hell happened here? So we have the Assault Dalek, which, you know, myself and a lot of people were looking forward to in that, because finally, we finally will have an Assault Dalek in, the more accurate sculpt and that, and great, and it's just a reuse of the claw arm from that 2006 Assault Dalek figure release. So yeah, it's exactly the same, which is why the arm is so short and also a bit chunkier as well. It has been painted slightly better this time around. It has been painted like black around here, and the claws and that have been given a different colour. I will say it's still not 100% accurate. This should be a lot darker and that than it actually is. But still, though, that is at least better. I mean, this is what... oh, my screen gone off. Here's a look at, what the claw should actually, look like in the story itself. But, yeah, why is this the case, though? Literally, there's no excuse for why this is the case. I've got a feeling, just in my head, that this was a last-minute decision. This was a last-minute decision because I've got a feeling that there was probably only going to originally be... If I just move that Dalek out of the way. This was originally the only section that we were possibly going to get. That's just my theory. And then this came in. Because, we've had the mutant scoop released before, without the mutant. But, and also we've had Daleks with new dome lights and that released. We've obviously had, the raised neck section and that in these Daleks, which came about last year. So, yeah, why is this the case? Why is this the case? And if someone argues, it's a budgetary thing, they've got less budget, well, how come we've got a new River Songhead? Which is terrible, by the way, and I know a lot of people would have much rather have had a new sculpted Assault Dalek claw arm than have that terrible River Songhead. Because the thing is, you could have reused a River Songhead. In fact, either reuse the original Silence in the Library one, which, wasn't exact, but, the hair was very similar to that, or just use the standard series 5 head. So, yeah, just like, why is this the case? Because it just looks so stubby and wrong, and that. Because there's actually, being fan-made, 3D printed claw arms and that, which look great and that. And the thing is that, I've resisted them for the longest time, buying any of them on eBay, because, I thought, an original release with that. But yeah, people have been putting, by the way, Assault claw arms into, these Dalek releases and that for the longest time. So... yeah, this is something, if you have an original release and that, then, yeah, it's not really much different other than very slightly different paint apps. And it's so disappointing because it's so close to it. It's so close. And that. I will say it is a great army builder set. It is a great army builder set. Because with these, since there were multiple of these in the story, and obviously, multiple bronze Daleks, you can easily army build. And that, especially if you get the set where it's these two together. But obviously, if you only find this one along with this one, obviously you can swap the plunger with that one, and swap the claw arm and that with that one. So, there's that as an option. But yeah, great army builder set. Like I said, if I'm eventually able to build an army of them, because at the moment I can't. I've literally only just managed to get today the Assault variant, which is why this review has taken as long as it had. So, yeah, but as I said, they are starting to appear in B&Ms and that at the minute. And don't worry, I will be doing a video about my hunt for them. It's over 2.5 hours long and that, but... yeah, I do still really like this set, regardless, and that of things. But boy, is that, just a major disappointment, and that. That is just a major disappointment. And, the fenders and that I'm not a big fan of in that either, but still, it is nice, you know, that nothing is at least majorly off with the colour that of the Daleks this time around. And, you know, hopefully in that, I won't be opposed if, you know, next year this Assault Dalek was just re-released but with a new claw. Like, I'm fine with re-releases. I know Aldebar isn't, and that he likes to do different things and that. But like, yeah, just do a proper Assault Dalek and that, please. And yeah, but there we go, people. There we go.